This has been a pretty intense heat wave over the last 5 days or so. Winds will be combining with all of that moisture and heat to give us the chance for a few severe storms this afternoon. The red areas indicating very heavy rain and the purples indicating the possibility for hail. And it does look like our triple threat button thinks there could be some pretty big hail in here. But yesterday was always going to be about the really gusty winds and the large hail. And that's what's been verifying for most of yesterday and even into the morning hours today. Those are temperatures that are at least 105 for the most part. And also too, we're going to see this start to spread into the plains where we're likely to see at least a few record highs. A quiet morning out there and a warm one again, but a lot of us this morning are actually in the 60s, which is better than the last couple mornings.
Snow accumulating on those elevated surfaces makes for pretty pictures, but not too much in terms of dangerous conditions.
This is a very nasty storm. I think this 100-mile-an-hour winds that we see on this one is the highest, at least that I've seen since we've been tracking this morning. Temperature is kind of on a roller coaster ride this week, but at least we will see a lot of sun. That makes up for it.
It looks like it's trying to cycle back down a little bit, but it's still holding on. Like you can still very clearly see the rotation, the purples and blues, but they're starting to get a little bit more spread out. We're not seeing as many purples really close to those bright reds.
You know what we're all about today?
Sunshine,
yes.
I know, and you can already see the sky getting lighter outside. It's so exciting. Our high today of 97, likely a record breaker. Greens there showing the rotation and the warning rings, of course, as well. So Smithdale, Auburn, Arlington, Bogachita, definitely get in your safe places now. This has been reported on the ground.
You're not a broken record anymore.
Yay, I know. It's been like that for like weeks and weeks and weeks, but now I can say rain and cold front. Music to everyone's ears, probably.
Yes.
Good morning. It's 4:54 on this Friday morning. We have made it through yet another rainy week, and finally today, going to start to see some sunshine, and you see evidence of the clearing skies by those icons.
I see a couple small flakes flying around here, but nothing like the big snowflakes that we saw earlier, and everything looking pretty good through the rest of the day. Definitely going to be cold and windy, but that's okay. We can handle that. Good Friday morning. It's now 5:16, and I hope you're having a great start to this last day of the week. It may still be misting a little bit, but at least for the metro, most of that meaningful rain has moved out. Great weather to do anything outside, and it's just hard to stay inside when it's so nice outside.
We're going to see the jet stream become more active, which means we'll see a lot more of that cooler air diving down from the north. That will be able to push in a lot of cold fronts, which is usually what we get this time of year, but so far we have not because that high pressure has been so strong.
It shouldn't be too much of a problem, but if you are going to be out later on in the afternoon, you may want an umbrella in addition to your jacket. South of Redwood, everything wrap up a little bit, and if I go through time here, I think you can probably see it, but we see a little bit of that pink go in by the upside down triangle, and that is not a good sign. Ended up not seeing a ton of snow accumulating here in the metro, but you can see on the car hoods here some of those elevated surfaces, especially metal surfaces that cool off a little bit quicker. You know, we got a good little dusting. You can still see the 16 WAPT logo through the snow on the car.
With this cold front coming in from the west and then a warm front lifting in from the north, that's going to give us this triple point where favorable winds will be combining with all of that moisture and heat to give us the chance for a few severe storms this afternoon. You see these brighter colors. That's a lot of the energy at the surface that storms will be able to tap into. This is likely to be a pretty isolated severe risk, very similar to yesterday, but anywhere from Hayward to Rhinelander to Green Bay, just about down to Milwaukee, and as far west as Eau Claire, Wisconsin could see the potential for a couple of gusty thunderstorms, 60-mile-an-hour winds, maybe 1-inch hail. Those are probably going to be what we're looking at today. And although the UP is not officially included in the risk like yesterday, there could be a couple of strong storms up there as well, but this is going to be a pretty limited risk. Also, we'll be dealing with the potential for some very heavy rain. We'll start to see things get going along about lunchtime right around Hayward and Eagle River as this warm front lifts to the north. These could have at any point in time heavy rain, gusty winds, or large hail, and then the cold front back to the west too will help generate some showers and thunderstorms later into the afternoon. Going through 3 p.m. though, from Wausau all the way up to Marquette, could see some of these gusty thunderstorms with heavy rain and large hail as well. And although there is no explicit tornado risk, you can't ever totally rule out a brief week spin up with any of these thunderstorms, but that is unlikely. More likely will be the heavy rain and the wind and the hail threat. Through 6 p.m., most of this will be starting to move into Lake Michigan, but there may be a couple of other thunderstorms trying to make their way in towards the Wausau and Ladysmith and Hayward areas, and these may persist even as far as if we get to about 8 p.m. or so. After that, energy will be waning, and although we may see some heavy rain roll into areas like Cedarburg and Manitowoc, we're probably not looking at any more severe weather potential. That should be just about done, probably by 8 o'clock, maybe 9 o'clock at the latest. Heavy rain, not going to be a huge concern either, but with pockets of these thunderstorms that could dump some really heavy rain in a short amount of time. Anywhere you see these yellow areas is about 2 inches of rain. There's even a little pocket our model is indicating of up to about 3 inches of rain out towards Ironwood. So these are the spots that could be maybe seeing a little bit of flooding. That's why the excessive rainfall outlook is on the lower end, the marginal, which means we may see a couple of flood reports come out of this area. Not likely to be widespread flooding like what's been ongoing across parts of the deep south and the mid-Atlantic. For places like Green Bay, we might see a lingering shower or two tomorrow, but today looks to be the better rain chance of the next couple days. Notice though, this cold front comes through and there's very little, if any, cool air at all. We'll get a brief cool down into early next week, back down into the 70s, but temperatures are kind of all over the place. We're going to be back to 91 by Thursday. Average high 75, so we're well above that all week, regardless of the rain chances.